Alright, so these wild unknown oracle cards. And I got numerology guidance cards and the classic Rider-Waite, traditional Rider-Waite Smith. So the oracle card is agape, right? And it's got all these hues, greens, purples, blues, with these orange sparks in the middle. It's like the chakra system being lit up. It's like everything is lined up. So it does symbolize alignment to me, symmetry in a way, like balance, even. As within, so without. Right? Because frontwards and backwards, it's like it's the same. The symbols, the shapes. It's like the image is almost like a palindrome. So with the numerology cards, the energy cards, I was asking specifically like what the energy is. It's domestic harmony, timeout, environment. So with the domestic harmony, we have that, again, that blue and that green, 4 and 6. So in the numerology cards, the blue is actually more aligned with the third eye chakra than the throat. And you can tell that by the colors. Not the colors, the numbers. 4 representing the green, the heart chakra, and the 6 being the surrounding color, which is more related, like I said, that 6 being more associated with the third eye. But here with the rough chakra stones, we have the amethyst. And in this deck, this is third eye. I mean, in the stones, this is third eye. It's crown. And this would be the sacral chakra. So it's like your brain and your second brain, right? As they say, the gut is the second brain. The sacral chakra encapsulates all of that. This is where emotions are stored and things of that nature. And it translates in how you receive and perceive the world itself around you. So with the third eye energy coming up here, the heart chakra energy coming up here, and domestic harmony, it really does affect these two areas, specifically on the chakra system. 4 and 6 is a 10. It reduces to a 1. It was about me, myself, and I. Domestic harmony is based on one's own experience, based on one's own perception. And also, like, you are the focal point. You are the centerpiece. And everything else around that is just relative, if that makes sense. So with the timeout card, again, we're getting similar stones. Very similar stones, same exact stones with this timeout card. This is solar plexus, and then this dark purple hue would be the crown chakra. Okay, so it's showing, and again, this is a 1. 3 and 7 is 10. It reduces to a 1. These are similar energies, but for different reasons. It's like I was saying, as within, so without. This is an inner necessity. This time out. Domestic harmony is the outward necessity. Okay, it's like a craving that has to manifest outwardly, and it's almost like, how does this translate? Like, how do I achieve this? How do I, coming from the heart space, it's a knowing of what it's supposed to feel like. The timeout is an inward thing that's being kind of pressurized and brought to the surface through the solar plexus. which is your willpower. That's where you get your courage from, but that's also where a lot of energy is exerted. It's where those flight, fright, fight, freeze responses come from. And so it's like it kind of dictates how you utilize the guidance you're bringing in. And like I said, it translates outwardly. So we have environment, and all of this green energy is magnified. 44. It's a master number. And prior to this, the spread prior to this, it was like a 99 and a 22. So these double digits have been coming in for today. This green heart chakra energy with environment, hearth, home, things like that, just, what makes you feel secure, what makes you feel safe. But again, it's tied to the third eye chakra. The crown chakra and the heart space. So it's definitely translating outwardly. This is a constant with that double four there, that 44. It's something that is it's giving me vibes of this agape card. It's everything. It's what everything radiates from, right? So environment can be inner, it can be outward, it can, like you have your sanctum, and then you have, everything external to you, but it's all environment, though in different contexts. You know what I'm saying? So you want them to match, you want them to be equal, right? Your outward environment, your inward environment, your privacy, and your social, and where you live versus where you work, or who you are when you're alone versus when you're out with others. Like there should be some type of symmetry and some sort of balance, right? So it's talking about getting balance, because otherwise you have the imbalances, like when people say alter ego or something like that. You're not the same. So it's like, to fully envelop the true self, it's to be yourself at all times. And some people, can mask this or certain things like that, but to live in your true self at all times is the ultimate goal, the key. So to further expound on the domestic harmony comes the Page of Pentacles and the Ace of Cups. And when I saw these two come in, I was like, okay, it is an opportunity to renew or review or express. It's more like, I don't know, like the beginner's mind, to go back to like the introduction, like reviewing the syllabus, to understand the fundamentals. Like, what is this? What is this necessary for? It's like getting back to the basics here, and I think that's what renews this desire, this feeling, because it's intrinsic. It's deep within, and it's being reawakened by this crown chakra energy. So here we have the Strength and the Page of Cups, and it's like, I can see this in one of two ways. It's like these are of one energy and these are of another. Okay, you have these two mirroring pages. They are both in beginner stages of something. This one more so spiritually and emotionally, or this is the potential of each, right? they're mirrored in a way, an ace and a major arcana. So this Page of Pentacles and this Strength card it's like an infinite kind of the potential is uncharted. Like it has been a lot of self-control and self-discipline, which, well, self-discipline came out in the last spread. Strength in the Page of Pentacles, it's like having to, knowing that this energy can expand to something farther, much greater, a lot larger, exponentially, right? But having the patience to hold back just a little, because it's instinctual to, I don't know, show your girth, show your strength. Like when, okay, your endurance. Because what came to mind is like when people are competing and what they call a dick swinging contest or whatever like that. You know, people want to show how strong they are, how powerful they are, or whatever. And this is more so saying to pace yourself, because it will unfold naturally and it will come to, there's levels to it. So to not go into burnout, little bits and oftens will get you to the place that you ultimately want to build to. The phrase Rome wasn't built in a day kind of solidifies what this Page of Pentacles is about. And this Strength card here is kind of reinforcing that measured advancement. So then you have this Page of Cups, and it's almost like it's kind of like love bombing, because this is the Page of Pentacles and it's matched with the Ace of Cups. It's, you know, this is far more, it's almost drowning the energy. It's giving a promise, or like exposure to what could be, right? This isn't fully manifested. This is the beginning of a stage, or this energy here is a pacing, measured, understanding that growth happens over time. This energy here is just overflowing, right? It's overwhelming to a certain extent. So Ace of Cups is a positive card. It is, but if you put too much water on a plant, you will drown it, or you put too much water on a fire, you know, you will smother it, things of that nature. So this is kind of what I'm sensing here with this. So when the Page of Pentacles has to kind of slow their roll, or put themselves in preparation for the next stage, because it is a leveling up happening, there has to be some restraint. The ego itself can't, you know, it's like how the capacity, how big the potential is, or how big the willpower is, because we have that yellow here signifying the solar plexus, and this Leo energy is like a solar plexus type of energy, that is courage, that is power, right? You can't overpower the space that you're in, otherwise you know, you'll start to feel smothered, or you'll start to feel boxed in. So it's about pacing, so that you can level up to the next size and actually fill that space. It has enough capacity to actually hold whatever talent, ability, skill set, property, whatever it may be. So you don't want to overwhelm yourself with too much before you have room for it, right? That's this energy. This energy here is, you know, a lot in the beginning, and then very little towards when it really counts. And to go from a grand Ace of Cups where it's overflowing, and it's a lot of offer, and it's a lot of love, and it's a lot of emotion, it's a lot of activity, and then it comes down here to the page. It's almost like um, what do they call that? Um, like a one-trick pony. And it's not as it was presented, where this was presented in a very modest way, in a very measured way, and it builds up to, it has to match the environment. It's a growth, incline, and this here is on the decline, and they're opposing. And I say mirroring, but the mirrored reflection is opposite. You see, it's equal and opposite. So with the timeout card, it's the Seven of Cups, like a ponderance type of energy here, because there are so many decisions that could be made in regards to this influence of the crown chakra and the sacral. It's like when it really comes down to what someone desires or what someone wants. And it's, again, that self energy, because this does translate to a one. So this is very personal, especially here with the Hermit. It's seeking solitude in order to gain clarity, because some things are just so cloudy. Do you see how the clouds translate into the next card? It's like this is what has allowed confusion into the mix. There were no clouds here. The clouds come in here with this overwhelming energy, and it's very intuitive, but it's again like the bombing. It's a flood, it's a tsunami. It just comes in, and it does a lot of, it seeps into this environment here. But this is what comes with it. This is what comes with this wave of emotion. It's a lot of confusion, and it's a lot of what ifs. It's a lot of different avenues that could be taken here. And a lot of these, you may not know what, you only see the surface level. You really don't know what's inside of each one of these cups. It's not until you actually get in it and start to go through each and every one of them that you kind of, you go through these karmic cycles when it comes to, that's like temptation, that's greed. Like, these all have their own deadly sin associated with them. Pride and vanity and, wrath and things of that nature. You see what I'm saying? Like, it's almost like you are on a step ladder and you end up going through all of these karmic lessons based on taking from this one cup. It's a culmination of them all. And that's what makes this so confusing. So the Hermit comes in with the light of truth to actually, this six-pointed star mirrors this six-pointed star here. And this timeout is necessary to sift and sort through what is and what isn't. Like, what is illusionary and what is factual, what is tangible, what's realistic. And then to some, it may seem as if the Hermit is too logical or too cautionary, when in actuality it's the foresight that actually can clear this. So here was the King of Wands and the Page of Swords underneath these two. And this is an outward expression of ego, aggressiveness, but also like overexerting one's power in a way to, again, kind of overwhelm or like they say, if you're in the wild and there's like I'm thinking about like a bear, right? How if something is bigger than the bear and it stood above the bear, or an animal and it looked larger, that it could scare off the other animal or predator or whatever it may be. That's kind of what I'm getting. Like, it's like a big show. So it's like what the lion does when it's in its shadow, when it's in its negative form. Even that Leo personality of trying to show how better one is than another, or flexing their muscles, peacock plumes, whatever. It's a flex, right? That's the King of Swords, the King of Wands in reverse. It's like, look what I have, look what I can do, look who I am. And it's very ego driven, and it's right underneath this Seven of Cups, because there's confusion about identity, there's confusion about desires, confusion about direction. We have the Page of Swords, and it's not seeking, it's not searching, it's not asking, it's not, the Page of Swords in reverse is usually studious, kind of like the Page of Pentacles. Got all these damn pages out. All the pages are out. And it's usually, when it's in its upright position, these birds are above. And it's like outside chatter. I always say that that's the Facebook F, but it's upside down. So this is not seeking information from other sources. This is mirroring this hermit energy of finding it for self. Instead of asking, knowing is kind of the vibe. So it's kind of, canceling out this energy, because first this light is gonna shine light on this confusion, and then this energy has turned its back and it's not listening, it's not entertaining what this is. Otherwise it'll play right into this energy's intention to kind of thwart and confuse. So if the Page of Swords isn't feeding into it, they won't get caught in the clouds, if that makes sense. The clouds are like, he's facing in a direction where the clouds are clearing. The confusion is clearing. So with this environment card, there's the Three of Cups that came out, and it kind of stood out on its own. And it showed me that, like, this and this are two separate instances, two separate environments, right? They're both environments, but in different ways. So in one regard, this Three of Cups, it's, jovial, it's happy, it's kicking it, it's celebration, it's friends, it's a three is an expansion card. So you don't form shapes until you have at least three. I mean, you have a circle, but it has really no beginning, no end. So it kind of it's kind of a standalone shape, like ovals and spheres and things like that. Those are standalone shapes because they have no beginning, no end. Whereas a straight line is 2 points. You don't have a shape until you have at least three. Then you have a triangle. This has structure. This has some type of this is where you can decipher in and out, if that makes sense. So this structure is a 3. And coming out to kind of expand on that was the Hierophant reversed, which is actually a lack of structure, or things that you've been taught, or things that are solid. Even though 5 is a conflictual number, it's still like a hierarchy, or again, those levels. It isn't following a structure. It's kind of chaotic, and that's what brings in this Ten of Swords. Ten of Swords is, one of these people here is laid out, right? And that's because in this structure, the lesser were overpowering the one who had the most wisdom. and it was allowed. So for these three to be, again, like this cup is raised higher. Okay, so this person to be the one who has the most wisdom, or to be the most responsible, or the most established, even to be overrun, or overpowered energetically by people of lesser, I would say, like spiritual standing, even not in terms of intelligence or finances, but just hierarchy as it comes in your spirituality and your connections. Spirited. These people are to come to this figure for the guidance, because this person has the most wisdom, right? This is why they're in that position. But when they run the show and this person is kind of left to whatever they're up to, or to follow suit, there's a downfall, and they kind of lose their position, they lose their footing, and now they're the ones left with the repercussions. And it all started from just this, considering themselves to be equal to people who were not on their level to begin with, but in an environment just like fitting into this, though their standing was their stature was in a higher plane, kind of not recognizing that, and that brings one down to their knees, brings them to this level here. They have to start at rock bottom. And that brought out the Seven of Pentacles, where one starts to assess what they actually have, and what they, what they've invested, and how much they've gained, how much they've lost. It's a kind of measuring if this is still, like, do they still invest in this? Do they still offer to this? So on this bottom row is the Eight of Wands and Eight of Pentacles, and it's translating to the work at hand, or the skills that one is doing. It's a trade. Eight of Pentacles talks about your skills, what you do in your privacy, like when no one's watching, in your inner environment, right? So these messages are coming in, but they're more like synchronicities. They're resounding this number 8 here, resounding that number 8 there as well. Then I know that these are related. And it's balanced though, because this person is already in the vibration of 8, which is power, but having known, and because it's resounding and it's a double digit here, it's 8 and 8. It's underneath the 8 vibration, and we've already seen the 8 vibration come out with the infinity symbol here, which is a lemniscate. It's balanced on both sides. This is showing balance here, because if a person was not in the 8 of Pentacles, was not balanced, was not focused, they would not be receptive to this 8 energy coming in. It would either they would either not receive the message in full, or they would kind of lose those opportunities because they were not receptive, they were not open, they were not a match or aligned to what's actually coming in. So while all of this is happening, like, this is happening at the same time, where it's cascading downward like this, you see, but it's equal and opposite. This is a growth spurt. This is a build-up. It's coming in to help stair step. It's levels to it, right? Page of Pentacles. This descent happened very fast. So here's the Four of Cups, and it's knowing with this, the synchronicities coming in, the messages coming in, they are in alignment, so they are relevant. They're being received and they're being utilized to help build the skill set and build the next level. There is, everything is taken into account because it's relevant, right? The Four of Cups understands what this is all about, been there, done that, and it won't accept it. It won't accept it, right? The back is turned. So it's not going for what this Three of Cups is all about, because this wisdom has already been achieved. Sometimes it's through intuition and other times it's through experience, right? So having recognized or having an intuitive understanding of what is actually occurring outside of oneself or in the environment, it's very easy for one to keep their head down and keep going despite the ruckus or despite the chaos going on around them in the environment. You have the Four of Cups. I'm not interested. I don't want it. That doesn't belong to me, because it's coming from this Seven of Cups energy. And most of these cups are tainted, or most of these cups are not even able, you can't drink from these cups. Like, you don't want what's in them. You don't want what comes in the bottom of these cups, or the effect of what's in these cups, because it puts you on your ass. So this Four of Cups energy is denying them all. Like, I don't want that. I don't want that. I don't want that. I don't want that. It's very clear and very decisive. It's not. It's not accepting, and a lot of times people see this as a card of rejection, but not all gifts are for your highest good, or not all things being given to you should accept. So it's being in acceptance with oneself. Like, when you know yourself, you know what you will take and what you won't, or what you need and what you don't need, and you have those clear boundaries set in place. And this is this stance being taken. Like, all this hard work, I've done all this hard work, I'm going to rest when it's time to rest. Like, I don't have to accept what you're giving me. I don't have to accept, what I didn't ask for, or what I don't want. They both have trees in these cards, and they're showing, trees are foundation. They have roots. Trees grow over a long period of time. They have more structure. They hold other things up. They are pillars, so to speak. They're sturdy. They're stable, right? So these cups, whatever in these cups, are going to diminish that, and that's not welcome. The other cards that came out to kind of piggyback on this energy. Four of Pentacles, Five of Wands, Queen of Pentacles. Why is it not focusing? There we go. So the Four of Pentacles, Five of Wands, and the Queen of Pentacles. Five of Wands is the conflict between these two energies, right? But understand, with the level, Page of Pentacles to Queen of Pentacles, they're both court cards. They're companion court cards. They're in the same family. This is an ascension, right? This Four of Pentacles is a descension. And what took these pentacles was this. These 3 of Cups diminished these 7 pentacles to where you subtract that. 7 minus 3 is 4. So this person here is holding on to whatever they've got, right? And kind of there's secrecy, there's this miserly type of energy. It's kind of like a selfishness, a holding back and whatnot. But it's to have a sense of stability. Not like the 4 of Cups where there was a tree. Not like the 8 of Pentacles where there was a tree. This stability is sitting here in one spot. If I don't move, or if I, this will be safe. If I don't move, if I don't spend, if I don't give, if I don't, let up, I'll be good. The opposite of the Page of Pentacles. The opposite of the Queen of Pentacles. These are very lax positions for these hands to be in. Just it kind of exalting the pentacle, understanding that to give is to receive. This energy is opposite, and it learns that hard lesson by going through these types of changes. And so there is conflict, there is imbalance. These 5 rods could actually form a star if they were balanced, if they were symmetrical and all in good angle. But they're not. So these 2 energies are mismatched, and it brings conflict. This sense of holding back is not similar to this one. It's knowing when to, like the tides, when they recede and they come in, and they recede and they come in. There's an ebb and flow to it. This has no ebb and flow. It is very much closed off, and it is a scarce mentality. It's what keeps one small. There's no growth. There's just gray. Just gray. So this energy being overwhelming and being all fantastical and imaginative and confusing and things of that nature, when it comes to this pentacle type of energy, this gray area, it's a lot of gray area. There's no real structure. There's no real plan. There's no real understanding of how it works, and therefore there's the questioning of how, why, should I, shouldn't I, like that confusion is coming back in with this 7 of Pentacles. And because one doesn't know what they have, they don't know what they're losing. They try to hold on to whatever's left. And then with this, not even understanding what the value is, but just feeling like I can't let go of it, because if I lose it, I have nothing. It's like, well, then you won't even be able to receive, because you can't let that go, which you don't even know the value of, because it was coming from a place of confusion that it was even manifested in the first place. And so here is the Page of Wands and the 8 of Cups reversed. Because of the influence of the 8s, you have the Strength card, the environment, the 8 of Wands, the 8 of Pentacles. This 8 of Cups is usually about leaving what no longer serves you, or what isn't fulfilling anymore, right? All these cups have been filled, they've been sipped from, they've been, and it's like not having had enough. And in this case, I feel like the confusion from the 7 of Cups is actually clearing. This could be a backtrack energy, but it's also as if what was down is up now, and what was up is down. And you can only really get that energy from having experienced these lows. So now it looks like it's an ascent, or well, it's almost like a descent, because in this, it's almost like a climbing the mountain. But this is heading towards this energy here, which is the Page of Wands in the upright. So it's not serious. Like the Page of Pentacles would be a little more serious. Page of Cups is like the jokester or just playful, and Page of Wands has information to share, but it'll do so in like a friendly sort of way. It's to inform, not to it's informative, if I can say it like that, but it does spark something. It's casual. And this is an energy that one would be more receptive to than an energy like this, because this comes in overbearing and overpowering and again flexing, and that's not what no one's receptive to that. Where usually the Page of Swords would be open to listen or open to learn something new or hear something, their whole back is turned because they're looking at this approach here. The Page of Wands has more receptivity or garners more attention because it is informative and it is helpful and it does spark something that is necessary. Because this 8 energy is very powerful, for better or for worse, and it's how it is used that is that determines that. Because you can have ego driven or overpowering or overwhelming, and it can be destructive, or you can have balanced and knowing when to use and when to not use, like the ebb and flow and the tides, how they recede and they come back, and they recede and they come back. It's a rhythmic use of power. It's a rhythmic use of energy, of flow. And so to come from a Page of Wands in a very subtle way, but very influential, that's what the Page of Wands is doing. That's what the Page of Wands is. And what comes of that is King of Cups, Ace of Pentacles. Ace of Pentacles begins a new insight or a new it's like an inverted match of these two, where the Ace of Cups doesn't overrule and it's just emotion based, or it's just how you feel and stuff like that. Where there was practicality being brought to feelings, it was like the practicality was being overwhelmed by the feelings. So now, in a more balanced approach, it gives this King of Cups the chance to mature. The fish is no longer in the cup, it's in the water where it belongs. Shouldn't be like a one-trick pony or a card trick. It's not illusionary. It's very much balanced. Like, there's stability here now. These waves behind the Page of Cups are very rocky. There is no solid foundation, and that's why this had no premise in talks or in regards to stability. There is not, even though they're on the same level, it's not the same home, if that makes sense. Like, or not apples to oranges. They're two different categories, though they are the same. And then this King of Cups coming into maturity has the stability now. They have a solid platform to sit and stand on. There is a sense of balance. There is a sense of being able to keep oneself together, even emotionally. And this is what garners the stability. This is what garners the new chapter. Now, this is being offered. This is being given. This is being shown in a way like And it was being shown in the beginning, and now it's in the end. It's alpha and omega. It's equal and balanced, right? It's that agape. So it didn't change. It didn't change shape. It didn't change form. The receptivity of the person changed. So when priority is this, and that cup energy is this cup energy, it's also this cup energy that brings about chaos, and brings a person down to a certain extent where they have lost themselves, even exponentially, and the standing that they had was overpowered by people in a less wise position. It's like now having the emotional intelligence, like, okay, so this is what matters, this is what's important, this is what is the next step. Now King of Cups has enough information in the environment to understand what harmony and domestic harmony actually means. This is always a reminder. It's a remnant of like what was, or what one has experienced and what they have actually been through. But having the footing of stability to recognize when stability is offered or right in front of them versus before. And this is when the King of Cups was in the page position, not understanding someone else's self-discipline, or not understanding someone's patience or ability to minimize to maximize, or that's the type of energy that comes with this, and that ebb and flow, and knowing when to use it, right? This energy, the Page of Cups, was not an understanding of how this actually works and what true strength really means. So it was kind of like ridiculing the presentation, or not knowing that this gift could actually be planted and be abundant and garner much more opportunity. Not until actually seeing and witnessing what that meant being put into action. The strength, 8 energy coming in and translating to coins, translating to funds, translating to stability, translating to energy, and how that keeps a person going, and like all the gears are turning. A well-oiled machine to a certain extent. Only now is there compassion for just how important that really is. But it came to this. If not for this, like, this is the Five of Wands. It's not even a complete, they're competing with one another. It's like conflicting ideas, and it's supposed to be like on the job training or competition and things like that. There should not have been. There is no competition, not between the Page of Pentacles, the Four of Pentacles, and the Queen of Pentacles. She's not competing. This person is not even like apt to put in the pentacle. There are 5 pentacles total between these 2 cards. But do you see the stance? This one pentacle is still being offered, and still so much growth, still so much foliage and greenery and things like that around this figure. And this figure here is sitting stationary with the most pentacles and not willing. And it's a mentality. So if you add this Page of Wands with this 5 of Wands, you get 6 Wands, which would be prosperous, a successful outcome. And it has still the influence of the Hermit in the 6th house of working together or completing something. It is Mutable energies finish cycles. They are the completions, right? 9 is a completion number. This hermit is very influential. Same staff, but presented not from a place of I'm wiser and I'm, you know, you should listen to me, I'm in charge, but from a place of this is valuable. You should hear it. This is valuable. You should try it. You should. It's wisdom in the form of creativity. It's a way to use everything without it being in an overbearing manner. So there's something that occurs here with this 8 of Cups, and it's this energy. This figure has been put on the ass by these experiences. But who knows that better than the Queen of Pentacles? It's already occurred for the Queen of Pentacles. The Four of Pentacles person is still in that energy. It's restrictive. Nothing can grow in that type of environment. And we see the difference. This is all concrete. And then this is flowers and growth, and got roses, and you know, it's valleys and hills. It's expansive. It's expansive. Expansive. There's more room for growth. There's more room for opportunity that way. And that's what's coming, you know, that's the understanding that is being gained. Because this energy here may not have picked the proper place to grow. And it shows. There was no structure. There was no balance. And that's how, like, if the top of a house is wider and too heavy, it's not supported properly at the bottom, it will topple. It's like a tower moment in and of itself without even the tower having to be here. But it's very much there. Hierophant is hierarchy. It's structure. It's like and since it was lacking structure, this is what happened. So the stair step, the levels to this, it was all out of order. So what's being corrected is environment, because timeout has occurred. It restores domestic harmony. That's how love works. Agape. Agape, Christian love, especially as distinct from erotic love or emotional affection, a communal meal and token of, oh, that's a sentence. Brotherly love, agape. It's the etymology breakdown. Same thing. It's Greek. Agape, it's like brotherly love. But agape is like more in terms to me like having an unconditionality, like I love you despite blah blah blah. Without being affected by or in spite of. Without looking down on. You know what I mean? That's what agape is. And that is, it can be taught, and some people know and some people are taught. And that's kind of what's happening. There's so much heart energy. There's so much, and then the crystal even came out. There's so much higher knowing, and it's being translated through even emotions and feelings. The sacral chakra is being expressed in like the center of gravity, in one center of gravity, which is around those reproductive organs and things like that. So it's in those places where emotions are stored, but it's being expressed still. It's being given in a tangible way, though it's spiritual origin. And the beacon, the heart light, it's lit because that's a constant. That environment at 44, this heart centered energy, this agape is very much, it's the center. It's always what brings it back to center. And I have a saying that, people are talking about loyalty and this and that. I'm not loyal to people, I'm loyal to love. That's been my saying for the last couple of years. This love is about the purest thing that you will find on the fucking planet Earth. Like, water don't be pure, people don't be pure, love itself is pure. And when it's not love, you know the difference. You know what it feels like. You know what it sounds like. And you oppose it. If you're naturally inclined to be in the vibration of love, whatever is not love, you will repel naturally. It will hurt the shit out of you. And that's how these types of things translate. This is plain. This is love, but when it filters and you see what it really is, it's the back is turned. Like, love in its pure state, yes, that's something that you offer to, that's something that you give to, that's something that you accept. But when it isn't, this is the type of energy that is received. It's like the arms are folded. Whatever intent is inside this cup is not, this person doesn't see the purity of it. It's not present, and therefore it's not being accepted. So that's the difference.